Am I the butthole for not letting my friend wear my engagement ring? Okay, a little bit of backstory here. My fiancé and I have been engaged for about 3 weeks. He got me the most beautiful ring that is exactly what I have always wanted, and it fits me perfectly. The only time I take my ring off is to apply lotion to my hands. I work in the medical field, which means lots of hand washing, sanitizing, and cleaning, so my hands get super dry, and when I do that, I keep it directly in front of me on my desk and within sight at all times. I have never had any sort of issue until a couple days ago. I have a coworker with whom I am friendly. Let's call her T. We used to be very close until I figured out that she and I lead very different lives, and I don't necessarily jive with her morals. Whatever, live and let live. I let a little bit of distance form between us. But we are still friendly and still talk at the office, so naturally I told her that I was engaged and she asked to see my ring. She oohed and ahed at it like most other people in the office, and I didn't think much about it. But a couple of days ago, she approached my desk while I was putting lotion on my hands, with my ring laying directly in front of me as usual. Without asking, she reached down and picked up my ring and slipped it onto her own finger instead, holding it up and admiring it, etc. I was flabbergasted. I didn't even know what to say, and I was so shocked that I just sat there in uncomfortable silence until she made a comment about how it looked so good on her, and I commented, "Don't go getting any ideas," trying to be lighthearted but also wanting my ring back. She eventually took it off, handed it back to me, and left. I was super uncomfortable with the whole thing, but I put it off thinking I was being too sensitive. Today, I was walking past her desk and she asked to see my ring. I held out my hand for her to look at it, and she began to remove the ring from my finger, so I pulled my hand back. She got pouty and asked why she couldn't take it off and see it, since I had let her before. I told her I had not let her do that before. She had grabbed it without permission and put it on without even asking if I minded. She rolled her eyes at me and said I was being ridiculous. I feel like I am justified to be protective of a ring that represents my fiancé's love for me. Am I the butthole? Not the butthole. I also realize you have to still work with this rude, entitled lady, so tell her it's bad luck to try on someone else's engagement or wedding ring. Someone tried to do this to me and I told her the same. We really do believe this. You still need to work with this woman. This gives you a reason to say no without simply saying you don't want to. Saying you don't want to is 100% perfectly okay, but this option might make things more comfortable at work. Maybe she should let HR know what happened, in the event her ring goes missing. This seems pretty excessive and a good way to cause an issue. It shouldn't, as long as it's a matter of, hey, I'm not requesting any action, but I'm a little nervous things might escalate and I just want to get some advice and maybe establish a timeline. These were the events that took place on XY 2021, this was the following interaction, and this is how I feel about the whole thing. Do you have a suggestion on best handling this situation? If things continue, I will provide an update. Thank you. It's not crying wolf or getting someone in trouble to mention that an issue may be developing. If the woman did get in trouble as a result of the heads-up/soft report, then it's likely not the first time people have brought her to HR's attention. The original poster said they used to be close. If the original poster goes to HR to establish a timeline, that is requesting an action. She's not being harassed, coworker/friend is overstepping, and original poster knows it. Going to HR over a personal issue is extreme. I say personal issue because, as others pointed out, it's perfectly acceptable to try on someone else's ring in some cultures. Op also states she pulled back from the friendship because their morals didn't align. Maybe if the coworker is that forward, she's not picking up on the op's subtleties. So you're saying to let it potentially escalate until it is a bigger issue, then bring it to HR where they'll say they can't do anything, because this is the first they've heard of the matter and they'll need to establish a timeline and history of events to determine a course of action. You're suggesting ignoring HR, despite its relevancy in this issue, only to potentially have to backdate and dump a log of events onto them when it is necessary. You realize HR is supposed to aid with interpersonal issues in the workplace. It's part of human resource management to manage the human resources in your company to ensure smooth interactions and avoid hiccups. They aren't just hiring/firing/policy checks, they are supposed to be support for staff and mediators in addition to training and hiring/firing. This event is exactly what HR is there for. You just have to request no action, i.e., create a record but don't address the other party unless it's deemed necessary. HR is there to protect the company. Everything else is a smokescreen. Stop getting it twisted. I'm saying you're making a mountain out of a molehill. HR is not for the employee. HR is the medium so a business can CYA. Someone snatching a several thousand, assumed, dollar ring off your desk and putting it on without asking while not even being a friendly acquaintance is 1000% worth reporting to HR. Who the F does that? And who tries to physically remove a effing ring from someone's hands? The entire thing is effed. Sensible discourse? On AmItheButthole.s? MHR, please tell us these things. This. Just to clarify, it's rude and weird to grab any jewelry a person has taken off temporarily and put it on, not just engagement rings, but an engagement ring is particularly egregious. Not the butthole. I mean, the coworker actually tried to remove it from Op's finger as well. Egregious doesn't even begin to describe that. Edit. Whoa, this is my first award. I have no idea what the protocol is here, but thank you for finding what I said good enough to award me. Exactly. Trying to take it off her body is sketchy as F. I'd be very careful around her with my ring if I was original poster. Where I live, you can't wear jewelry besides a wedding band/stud earrings in clinical settings for infection control risks. If I was original poster, I'd be tempted to leave it at home in the day, eliminating the possibility of this person stealing it. She may want to look into those silicone rings for work so her real ring doesn't get stolen or damaged. That's exactly what I do. I work in a hospital and I wear a groove ring to avoid that and keep everything sterile. I was just about to comment this too. I recommend ring holder necklaces that you can wear while at work so you never need to take it off. I was about to say something like this. When I worked in a hospital, my friend put his wedding ring on a gold chain and wore it around his neck. I'm a medical student going into surgical specialty and all my mentors wear their rings on necklaces. Personally, I think it looks a lot nicer than those silicone rings, but if you like those, that is chill too. My late brother-in-law was a mechanic, and actually had a wedding ring tattooed onto his finger. My jaw is on the ground. Everything about this coworker's behavior is bizarre. My own, very non-traditional, engagement ring is custom but based on the design of a ring of my fiancé's auntie that I openly admired, then asked to try on whilst she was doing dishes. Her ring had no real sentimental value, was just an artisan item she enjoyed. And I still asked. Because picking up and trying on anyone's personal possessions is not only weird but also rude. Not the butthole. Not just jewelry, it's rude and weird for any type of clothing too. If someone has a nice hat/jacket/pair of shoes/scarf/whatever and you want to try it on, you ask first and respect the answer. One of the most basic rules of society is that you don't touch other people's stuff without their permission. That's a really nice shirt you've got there. RIP, and that's how you end up in a meeting with HR. 100%, this. Honestly, I don't know if I'd even ask to try on any jewelry or any other item a friend had that I admired. I might ask to see it up close, for example to feel the fabric of a scarf, but I think actually putting it on without them explicitly saying try it on if you like is still rude. I also got engaged recently and wouldn't mind if a friend wanted to see my ring, that's half the fun, but although it wouldn't upset me like it has Op, I'd find it a bit odd if they tried it on. Not the butthole original poster. Like you said, that's not just a piece of jewelry, that's a symbol of your commitment to your relationship. You wouldn't ask to try on a bride's veil either. Brilliant. I'd have to work really hard to not follow up with "oh, that explains it." You try on too many rings, no wonder you aren't married. Not really, but I would think it in my head. It would be great if we could stop weaponizing singleness against women as if it's some kind of terrible flaw. I mean, unless you actively try your coworkers' rings without their permission, I see no harm in doing as so. Of course, being single is not the worst thing on the world, but feeling entitled to trying your coworkers' rings on the other hand, same hand, really. Edit. Are people forgetting how T took original poster's ring from her desk, leaving original poster speechless, and how original poster outright said not when it happened a second time? I fail to see how T is not a butthole in this whole scenario. None of her actions is justified whatsoever, no matter her views in relationships or whatever. That's absolute bullcrap. She figured original poster wouldn't mind and was massively wrong, and rude. However, escalating by saying something hurtful like that will seriously cause issues in her workplace and will get original poster reprimanded. Please don't recommend crap like this. The real world is not a movie where witty comebacks yield the result you are playing out in your head. Again, it is catty crap like this that holds women back in the workplace. Tell the woman no, and move on. This op is entitled to be uncomfortable with the situation and should stand her ground on her boundaries, but she is in a work environment and should treat her colleague with professionalism at the same time. Snarky comments are a one-way trip to HR and lower original poster to T's level. Two wrongs don't make a right, especially when they aren't needed. She simply just needs to be firm in saying no, but don't go on the offensive beyond that. Not the butthole, by the way. If you don't want people to handle your stuff, you don't need to justify yourself, just say no firmly and leave it at that. I find it's usually when people start reaching for excuses for why they feel a certain way that others start sensing weakness and start overstepping boundaries. It gives people avenues to find holes in your logic. No need to get complicated, just say no means no and leave it at that. They are separate things. No one is saying that T isn't the butthole, but that doesn't justify making some snarky, sexist comment about her being single, particularly in the workplace. Legit. This was exactly where my mind went when I read this. I'm not a superstitious person, but some things are deeply ingrained. The only other woman's engagement ring I've ever tried on is my mother's, and that was when I was a little girl. Actually, I think I might have put on my grandmother's too, come to think of it, in that same trying rings on playtime with mum as a kid. Does it still count when the person is dead? Where I'm from, it's tradition to make wishes on engagement rings. Like, you try on someone else's ring, twirl it on your finger 3 times, and make a wish. Definitely not bad luck. We have a similar tradition. Anytime a woman gets engaged, she passes her ring around the group and every woman tries it on, taps the stone, and makes a wish for the couple. I mean, nobody checks the wishes, so technically you could just wish for donuts. Still not cool to just lift it off a desk without being asked, though. Who does that? Now I am wishing for donuts. For breakfast tomorrow. And for the happy couple, of course. This is only tangentially related, but the donut wishes reminded me when my sister got married. She registered at Target for some rather unusual gifts. I picked the donut holes. Got some very weird looks when I told the cashier I needed them checked off the registry. Oh, I totally agree. I was responding to the person who thought it was bad luck to try on someone else's engagement ring. I know you were. I was just ranting about how uncool that was. Quick question. Do you make wishes for the couple, or is it like a birthday cake wish where you can just ask for whatever? Nah, you make wishes for yourself, especially for your own love life. I was just about to say this. You twirl it 3 times towards your heart, and the first wish on the ring is the one most likely to come true, so fisticuffs can ensue. I would add to this, she seems to have some sense of ownership over your ring. Do you have a secure location you could lock it up while at work, given you need to take it off frequently? Given the chance she will take it again, and a good chance, she will try and conceal/keep it. This isn't even a not the butthole situation. This is a how do I prevent my coworker from stealing a valuable piece of very personal property without creating an incident at work. Just because of that, I'd keep a sturdy plain necklace chain on me, wear it plain, with an easier clasp, if allowed, and attach the ring to it when needing to put lotion on, and then it keeps the ring not only safe, but on your person, and you can drop it in your shirt to hide it. Knowing me, it would be a thick leather cord I can pop over my head and do a simple loop through the ring and push the cord through the loop to attach and detach the ring. Easy to do with post-lotion hands instead of fiddling with the now slippery metal lobster clasp or other metallic clasp. But I'd never trust this woman around my belongings again. What if the ring got stuck on her finger when she pulled that stunt? I'd see red if she joked it was now hers since she can't remove it easily. Not the butthole. Came here just to comment this: beware. This is a very common way to steal rings. A friend of mine on a date had a young lady admire his grandmother's ring that he kept on a chain. She asked to try it on, The moment that his attention was distracted her, and the ring disappeared. Sometimes they say the ring is stuck and leave to try and soak the ring off, then disappear that way. Not the butthole. This ring is a precious thing to her. Not the butthole. Not the butthole. It feels like she's going to take it. Would you be up for wearing it on a necklace at work? That's what I did when I worked in a hospital lab because of all the hand washing and on and off with gloves. My ring would sometimes snag gloves and rip them. I was hoping someone would suggest this. I worked with a lot of nurses, and the amount of times I'd see their rings go right through a glove, I could never understand why they didn't put them on a chain during work. I'm surprised it's even allowed. It's not where I work. There is an absurd amount of bacteria under a ring after wearing it a whole day. I work as a dental hygienist and would have been fired on the spot if I wore a ring when I meet patients. This was exactly my take. Definitely not the butthole for her response to her colleague, but I'm horrified she's wearing a ring at work and is allowed to. If hygiene isn't a sufficient reason for original poster to switch to wearing it on a necklace, I'm a research scientist by training and on more than one occasion had to go through the hazard waste to find colleagues' rings that had come off inside gloves. In a clinical setting, it's unlikely you'd be able to do that or possibly not know which bin to search even if she were able. Thank you for putting to words a feeling I always had as a kid. I personally don't have teeth anymore, but it always weirded me out for some reason when dentists with their big ring knocker rings would have to change gloves or even try to stick their hands in my mouth with an obviously broken glove because of their ring. You're a professional, take the damned ring off. It's not worth me getting an infection so everyone can know you're married / what college you went to. Brilliant take, but what happened to all of your teeth? You can't just indirectly mention that and not explain it. Basically a combination of things. Bad genetics meant I had weak enamel. A bad orthodontist meant when my braces came off despite doing everything I was told to, I only really had enamel left where the brackets were glued on. At that point, it seemed no matter what I did I kept getting cavities and other damage. Eventually as a young adult I gave up, I smoked, I drank, and my teeth slowly rotted. At a point the constant pain was too much and I just had them all removed because I could afford that but not the almost $10,000 to keep my teeth. Honestly, I regret nothing. Took a bit to get properly fitting dentures but my mouth is never in pain and I can eat whatever I want. Not the butthole. If she wants to try on engagement rings then she can go to a jewelry store. Why anyone would think it's okay to just grab someone else's ring and put on is beyond me. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.